Hello to all our friends and listeners. Today, we bring you a special story full of mystery and secrets. A story that might take you back in time and into the hidden truths at the heart of New York. It's about a young writer named Layla, who, lost in the bustling and awe-inspiring world of New York, embarks on a quest to uncover an old truth. A truth that not only changes her life, but might also lead her down a much more dangerous path. So, if you are ready to join us in this search, stay with us until the very end.
Layla, a young writer, has lived in New York for years, but she still feels like she doesn't belong to the city. She grew up in a small, quiet town where the streets were filled with tall trees and old houses. Since childhood, she has loved writing. She would write her first stories on scraps of paper and keep them in a box under her bed. But when she decided to become a professional writer, she moved to New York, a place where life was very different from the one she had imagined as a child. Now, after years of effort, Layla feels stuck. Her publisher wants her to create something different and impactful, but she hasn't been able to write anything for months. Every morning, she wakes up in her small, quiet apartment, stares at the blank screen of her laptop, and eventually closes it without writing a single sentence. She feels like she's lost her inspiration, and this thought scares her. One day, to escape from this mental block, she goes to an antique market in the suburbs of the city. Among the dusty shelves, she finds an old notebook with a leather cover. The worn appearance and handwritten notes inside spark her curiosity. The pages of the notebook are filled with writings that seem to belong to a woman named Sarah, who disappeared decades ago. As Layla reads the notes, she discovers that Sarah lived in the 1950s and became involved in a mysterious event. Sarah wrote about her daily life, her morning walks in the park, the small cafe where she always sat and drank her favorite tea, and the night she felt someone was following her. She writes about a mysterious man who always stayed in the shadows and seemed to be watching her. What started as simple, everyday memories slowly turns into a puzzle of clues that push Layla to search deeper. At first, she only sees the notebook as an interesting subject for a new story. But as she gets further into the mystery, she realizes this is more than just a story. There's a hidden truth. On her journey to uncover the truth, Layla visits the places mentioned in the notebook and meets people who seem to be hiding something. She first visits an old library, one of the locations mentioned in the notebook. The elderly librarian, who has worked there for years, initially refuses to talk about the past. But when Layla mentions Sarah's name, his attitude changes. He finally reveals that Sarah, in the days leading up to her disappearance, had been looking for books about missing persons cases. The next clue leads Layla to a small cafe mentioned in the notebook. The cafe owner, a middle-aged man, goes silent when he sees the notebook. He eventually tells her that Sarah was last seen there and disappeared shortly after. He also speaks about a man who had met with Sarah that day, and no one had seen her since. Each clue brings Layla closer to a darker truth. Sarah became the victim of a mysterious event that may still have surviving people involved today. Along the way, Layla encounters several characters. An old journalist. He has spent years investigating missing persons cases and works in a small, cluttered office in a corner of the city. His shelves are filled with old files and yellowed newspaper clippings. He tells Layla that Sarah's case was one of the most mysterious and unresolved cases. However, he has information suggesting that some local officials may have hidden something at the time. A woman who claims to see Sarah in her dreams. This woman, who lives in a dark old apartment, says she has seen Sarah in her dreams, and each time she mentions a place that Layla has yet to visit. The details of her dreams are so specific that Layla cannot ignore them. But are these dreams real clues, or just the fantasies of a lonely and troubled woman? A man who seems to know more than he admits. At first, he pretends to know nothing, but his behavior says otherwise. His actions are suspicious, and when Layla presses him with more questions, he becomes nervous. Eventually, he refers to a specific night, the night Sarah disappeared. He says that on that night a scream was heard from a dark alley, but no one dared to investigate. As the truth begins to unfold, Layla feels she is being followed. Are the people behind this mystery still trying to keep the truth hidden? She now faces the biggest challenge of her life. Should she continue searching for the truth, even if it puts her life in danger? Or is it better to let go of the notebook and continue her normal life? This story not only leads her to uncover an old secret, but it also helps Layla understand herself better. Perhaps this search is exactly what she needed to write a true and impactful story.
Thank you for joining us on this mysterious journey. We hope you enjoyed today's story. If you like the story and the content on the channel, please give us a like and subscribe so you never miss out on our upcoming tales. Feel free to share your thoughts and suggestions with us. We'd love to hear from you. We look forward to seeing you in future podcasts. Until then, new adventures and even more secrets await. Goodbye.